Welcome. This is day 25 of me asking my mentor for a capital to trade with by proving that I'm one of his top students. Let's go straight to the chart and let's predict the market, shall we? So this is the pairs that I am interested on for Monday, and let me explain you why I am interested on them. So let's start from Euro GBP, and as always, let's start from the daily time frame, the higher time frame. Okay, first of all, what we do is we identify the trend. On the daily time frame, are we bullish or are we bearish? Identify that first of all. So as you can see over here, we were forming lower low, lower high, lower low. So and finally we had a body closure above the lower high point. So we are back to bullish. We were bearish over here. We are now back to bullish over here. This was the higher high point, this was the higher low point, and finally price had a body closure below the higher low point. So we are now back to what? Back to bearish. Now if we are back to bearish, what do we look for? We look for sell, but we don't just sell based on that. After we identify the trend, the second thing we do is we mark out our area of interest, or support and resistance level, or supply and demand, or point of interest. They have a lot of names, bro. Call it whatever you wanna call it. Just it's easily support and resistance, bro. They try to complicate it by giving different names, but they are being used for same reason. So now how do we identify, or how do we mark out our area of interest? Always when we identify our area of interest, we identify, or we need to mark the area of interest inside of the lower high and the lower low point. Why? Because if price have a body closure above these lower high points, marking this area of interest is not gonna be useful, because while price reach this area of interest, we already have a body closure above the lower high point. So if we have a body closure above the lower high point, we are no longer interested for sale. If we have a body closure above here, I'm gonna wait for pullback to buy. So without breaking our structure, without breaking our market structure, which is the bearish market structure, we will look for some kind of area of interest or support and resistance level where price can potentially have some kind of reaction from it. So inside of this lower high and lower low, you can find 2 or 3 area of interest, and what we do is, after price reach that area of interest, you're not just gonna go to the lower time frame to take the trade. No, what you do is you're gonna wait for price to give you some kind of bearish reaction from that area of interest. For example, over here I took one trade. Why? Because this is also an area of interest. It reached this level. As you can see, previously it have been used as a resistance, it have been used as a support over here, it have been used as a resistance over here also. As you can see, support, resistance. So this is a valid area of interest, and the price actually, after it reached that level, it formed bearish reaction, some kind of bearish doji candlestick. So I went to the 4 hour, and on the 4 hour time frame, as you can see, price gave me this beautiful bearish engulfing on London session. And while it was forming that weak pullback to the upside, I took the trade exactly right here, and I got stopped out. This is a valid trade, and it's part of the game. Losing is part of the game. So it did not work out this time. So am I gonna change anything? No, I'm gonna apply the same thing once again. Now again we are back to another area of interest, or another supporting resistance level. As you can see, it have been used as a support over here, some kind of weak rejection over here, and over here, as you can see, it have been used as a support. So it have more than 3 touch. So this is a valid area of interest. Not only that, it also formed our beautiful rejection candlestick. You always wanna wait for that rejection to happen. Okay, you know why? Because let me show you. It was forming higher high and higher lows, right? Then after we shift to the structure, we need to form that pullback, or that lower high, or that retracement, or discount level, whatever you want to call it. You did not want to take the trade on the lowest point. You need to wait for that retracement. So the key thing is, how do we identify that the lower high formation is done? How do we know if it's done or not? what you do is you're gonna mark every area of interest that you can possibly find, and you're gonna wait for price to give you some kind of reaction from it. Just because price reached this area of interest, or just because price reached this box level, you're not gonna just sell this from this point. No, you need to wait for price to give you that bearish doji, or that bearish pin bar, or bearish engulfing candlestick on this area of interest, so it can confirm you that it's actually using it as a resistance. So you can go to the lower time frame and find an entry when the next daily time frame open. Okay, now for example, when price reach this level, okay, what do we wait for? Price to give me some kind of bearish rejection. Okay, let's say we got our bearish rejection. Beautiful. That's when on the next day I will go to the lower time frame, which is 2 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever you want to call, all of that, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, all of the others. So when we go to that, what we gonna wait is for price to give us that upward wick. Price will give us that upward wick before it keep going downside, right? So we had the pullback, we reached the area of interest. Okay, we wait on the daily time frame. We are not gonna go to the lower time frame to find some kind of shift or structure. That's what Alex do, but me personally, I wait for my rejection on the daily time frame. So after I got my daily rejection on the next daily time frame, I'm gonna wait for price to give me that upward wick. And while it was forming that upward wick, then I go to the lower time frame, which is the 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour. Then I look for some kind of entry over here, so that I can catch this move. You understand, right? So now you can take this over here. You can take this approach over here. As you can see, we had the strong move to downside, we had the strong move to downside, we had the retracement, we formed the bearish rejection, from the area of interest, over here also. So what we gonna wait is for price to give us that upward wick on Monday, so I can take the trade. Do you understand, right? So now we go to the 4 hour, and on the 4 hour time frame, as you can see, we are bearish, not because of this market structure, because of this market structure over here. As you can see, this is the lower high point, this is the lower low point. Anything that happened inside of that lower high and lower low is just a market structure. So on the trend 4 hour, we are still bearish because of this market structure, but still inside of this market structure, it's showing us a bearish price action. As you can see, if you want to forget this one, let's say, okay, be with me, okay, stay with me. Let's say this higher high, let's take this as a higher high, higher low, higher high. We actually had a body closure below this higher low point, if you want to call it as a higher low. Okay, so we are bearish because of this, but still inside of this market structure, we are forming a bearish market structure, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is what makes it more interesting to take this trade. Okay, so all I'm gonna wait is for price to give me a little bit of weak pull back to this area of interest, to retest the area of interest, to retest the 4 hour EMA, then so that I can take the trade to the downside. So this pullback to the upside is going to be just the upward wick on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, it's just gonna be the upward wick. On the 4 hour time frame, it's gonna be some kind of body pullback. Then after that body pullback form, we need to wait for that bearish confirmation candlestick, some kind of bearish doji on the 4 hour time frame. So when that bearish, okay, let me make it more clean. Okay, let's say if we have one body bullish candlestick pullback, then the next 4 hour, if it form a bearish doji over here, it's literally telling us that this candlestick is telling us that the daily is done forming that upward wick, and it's now time for it to keep going to the downside to form that bearish engulfing formation to the downside. So that's how we know the wick pullback is done. Okay, by going to the 4 hour end, by waiting for that rejection. Because if we did not wait for that rejection to happen, we never know how far that wick is gonna go, because it might go until here to match these wicks. It might go even upper over here, touch this structure point, then reverse and keep going downside. So you do not want to predict that just blindly. You want to go to the 4-hour end, you want to wait for that rejection to happen from the area of interest. So that rejection will confirm you that how far, or will literally tell you how far the daily upward wick is gonna go. If we formed our rejection over here, it will tell us that the upward wick formation of the daily is done being formed, and it's now time for it to reverse and keep going to downside. Is that clear? I talk too much. I'm trying to make you guys understand how I approach the market, okay? Based on the set and forget strategy. Yep. Let's remove this. So you already know what we wait for on the 4-hour, the retracement and the rejection. Let's go to the next pair, which is CAD JPY. CAD JPY, as you can see, we were forming higher high and higher lows. Then we shifted structure. We formed the lower low, formed the lower high, lower low, lower high, and finally we started to form the lower low. We formed this beautiful bearish engulfing, having a body closure below this support, resistance, support level. So all I'm gonna wait for is for Monday to give me that upward wick to come back and retest this area of interest, and for price to keep going to the downside. Then to also feel this downward wick. Whenever this downward wicks form on the direction of the trend, I am a firm believer that it will get filled. Okay, so I do expect for price to form that upward wick and to fill this wick to the downside. Then on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, it was forming lower low, lower high, lower low. We become bullish when we had a body closure above this lower high point, so this became the higher high, this became the higher low, but it finally broke below this higher low point also. So we are back to bearish once again. Now we are on our way to retest this area of interest. So using the same approach as we did on Euro GBP, on the daily time frame, what did I tell you guys? I am expecting for price to give me that upward wick, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, it's gonna look like some kind of body pullback. Then we are gonna wait for the 4-hour to give us that body pullback, which on the daily time frame is gonna be just a wick pullback. Then the only way we are gonna know that upward wick on the daily time frame is done is when we form some kind of rejection here on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, then after it have some kind of pullback, I'm gonna wait for some kind of bearish rejection candlestick to form. Then I will confirm that daily is done or it's finished forming the upward wick. So I will be interested to take the sale from this point, take the trade to the downside. The next one, GBP/USD. GBP/USD on the daily time frame, as you can see, always we identify the trend forming higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We are now formed the strong bullish engulfing, the higher high point, breaking above this resistance, support level. This is a valid area of interest. Also broke above this strong round psychological level 1.36000. So all I'm gonna wait for is for price to give me that pullback to retest the area of interest and to retest this round psychological level, so it can keep going to the upside. Then on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, on the 4-hour time frame, we are bullish because of this market structure, this higher high and this higher low, not because of it have a body closure above this structure point. This is just a market structure. Now this was the higher high, this was the higher low, and as you can see, price formed. Look, even if you want to call this as a lower high, and if you want to call this as a lower low, price finally had a body closure above all of these highs. So this is literally telling us that the buyers are on control. You know, there are strong buyers, and always after price formed a strong push, and after it formed the highest point, you do not want to take a trade on the higher high point. Okay, you always want to wait for that retracement to happen, that discount, that pullback. That's what you want to do. So I'm going to wait for price to give me that pullback to the area of interest, to retest this area of interest, and to retest this round psychological level. And while it do that on the 4-hour time frame, on the daily time frame, it's just forming that downward wick to come back and retest this area of interest and round psychological level also. So exactly as I said before on CAD-GP and EuroGPP. How do we know that the weak pullback is done being formed? When the 4 hour gives us the rejection candlestick. On this case, on CAD-JPY case, we were looking for bearish, so we are waiting for some kind of bearish rejection to happen on this resistance level to take the trade to the downside. Now on GBUSD case, we are looking for buy, so after it have the pullback, we are gonna wait for some kind of bullish rejection, which is a bullish doji, bullish pin bar, or bullish engulfing to form on this area, so we can take the trade to the upside. So after it have that pullback, it will also look like it's forming the inverted left head in the right shoulder. So this is also another beautiful bullish price action confirmation, inverted head and shoulder pattern. That's a beautiful pattern to take the buys. Okay, so just a pullback, a rejection, take the trade to the upside. USD CHF, USD CHF on the daily time frame, as you can see, this is beautiful, bro. It was forming higher high, higher low, higher high, boom, shift of structure, lower low, lower high. I was explaining this for you guys. Price formed the lower low, formed the lower high, the rejection, then after the rejection, you wait for the weak pullback, you take the trade. Over here also we did the same thing. Lower low, lower high, rejection, then after that rejection happen, then we wait for the weak pullback, we take the trade. Over here also low low, lower high, we rejected, then the weak pullback, take the trade. Also right here now the same thing happened. We formed the lower low, formed the lower high, we got our rejection, we are gonna wait for that pullback to take the trade to the downside. Bro, we are literally applying the same thing. If you wanna take it on the buy side, okay, here we formed the higher high, formed the higher low, formed our rejection, we wait for the weak pullback, we buy. This is the same thing, bro. This is the same thing, the same thing. Over here also, we formed the higher high, we formed the higher low, we formed our rejection, we wait for the weak pullback, we buy. Bro, bro, bro. Over here too. Form the higher high, form the higher low, we reach the area of interest, we form our rejection, we wait for the weak pullback, we take the trade, we set and forget. Now we wait for the pullback, we wait for the rejection, we take the sell, set and forget. On the 4 hour time frame, we are forming lower low, lower high. As you can see, then we shifted structure to bullish when we had a body closure above the lower high point. Now we are bullish. We were bullish. This was the higher high point. This was the higher low point. And finally, we had a body closure below that higher low point, which make the 4 hour back to bearish, which is beautiful. The daily is bearish, the 4 hour is also bearish. So what do we wait for? We wait for price to give us that pullback, which on the daily time frame is gonna look like just a weak pullback, maybe. Then that pullback, then the rejection to take the sale to the downside. And this one, I don't think it's gonna happen on Monday. I just put it on my watch list to, to just see how it plays out. But, you know, I think this trade might on the daily time frame. Okay, let me show you. On the daily time frame, it might form some kind of bullish pullback, bullish candlestick pullback, not just a weak pullback, because it formed a very strong bearish engulfing candlestick. So it is very far from this area of interest. I don't think it's just gonna form, just a weak pullback then to keep going downside. It is very rare because it's very far from the area of interest. So I think what's gonna happen is for a price might have some kind of uh, bullish pullback, bullish candlestick body closure on the daily time frame. Then after it reaches the area of interest, I'll wait the same thing as I always do over here. What do I wait for? For some kind of bearish rejection to happen on this level. So after that happen, I'll wait for the next daily. After this format, on the next daily, I'll wait for that weak pullback, and I'll look for my entry around this level so I can sell this trade to the downside. You understand this already, don't you? That's it. This is what I think is gonna happen. I don't think it will just be a weak pullback, but we're gonna see, okay? All of it is gonna be identified by the 4 hour. If the 4 hour give me a quick bullish pullback over here, then if you give me a bearish doji, I don't think market is gonna be that volatile on Monday. But if it does that, it is what it is. We follow what the market shows us. We do not follow our our thinking. It doesn't matter what you think. Just from experience, I think this is gonna happen. But who gives a fuck about my thinking? The market doesn't give a fuck about my thinking. So I'm just gonna follow what the market shows me. But I think this is gonna happen, not the 4 hour. I mean, not just a weak pullback. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. La 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 la. Quick, bro. What? Quick, bro. Quick, bro. So we're gonna wait. The other one is Euro AUD. Euro AUD on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, as you can see, we had strong push to downside. We formed a pullback. We reached the support level. We formed our beautiful bearish doji, confirming us that it's using the support level as a resistance, exactly as it have done over here. We formed the lower low, formed the lower low, formed the lower high, formed the lower high. After the lower high, what did we form? We formed that doji candlestick, doji rejection candlestick from the support level. We formed that doji candlestick from the support level. So what do we expect? For price to give us some kind of weak pullback? I'll wait for price to give me some kind of weak pullback to take the sale, expecting the sale. Bro, I'm not doing anything. I'm just applying what price I've done previously. That's what the Set and Forget teaches us. That's what Alex teaches us. You know, just if price have done it previously, if the market have done it previously, it should do it again. We're just looking back and applying what price have done previously. Just copying and pasting. This is just cheating, bro. If you are a good cheater, if you have a good eyes, you can be good trader. I think so. So we're gonna wait for that weak pullback to take the trade to downside. The 4 hour looks absolutely beautiful. We formed this downward move, the lower low. We are back to this area, forming the lower high. We using this support level as a resistance. We formed beautiful rejections over here. As you can see, we formed this evening formation, evening star formation over here. Also, once again, evening star formation. So I'll wait for price to give me some kind of pullback. This pullback means on the daily time frame, just the upward wick, then another bearish doji or bearish engulfing, something like this or something like this. Just bearish, some kind of bearish candlestick over here. Then I'll be interested to take the trade to the downside. Lastly, AUDCHF. AUDCHF on the daily time frame, we are forming higher high, higher low, higher high. Then now we were back to this level. We used this resistance level as a support and we reacted very strongly. Then after that, we now formed some kind of pullback. Now finally on Friday we formed this beautiful bullish doji. It looks like we are also forming the inverted left head in the right shoulder. So I'm gonna wait for price to give me some kind of weak pullback and to take the trade to the outside. On the 4 hour time frame, it doesn't look that good, not gonna lie. I don't like it that much on the 4 hour time frame. I'll just be patient and I'll look at it. uh, I would love if it does not have, if it have a body closure under this higher low point. I will not be interested, because as you can see, price is forming higher low. This is the higher high point, this is the higher low point. So anything that happen inside of this is just a market structure. So what I'm gonna wait for is for price to give me some kind of bullish confirmation over here. So over here, just another maybe bearish dojis, and after that a bullish engulfing, I don't know, just some kind of bullish candlestick over here without having a body closure under this higher low point. So I can be interested. Some kind of bullish doji like this will be very beautiful. If I have a bearish candlestick closures, and after that if we form some kind of this beautiful bullish doji without having a body closure, as you can see, look how beautiful it is, rejecting from the area of interest with the downward wick without having a body closure. exactly like this over here. If it is formed, it will be very, very beautiful, because I can also have a good risk to add ratio. Then my first take profit will be around this level. So yeah, I like this. I'll look at it. Okay, that's it. These are the trades that I am interested on Monday. To revise for you guys very, very quickly. On the 4-hour time frame, as I told you, some kind of bullish rejection over here to take the trade to the upside. Euro AUD, some kind of pullback over here, then a bearish candlestick over here to take the trade to the downside. USD CHF, a pullback. It's gonna take a long time. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'll look at it. Some kind of a pullback to this area, then a rejection from here to take the trade to the downside. GBP USD, a pullback to the area of interest, to take the area of interest in around psychological levels, and I'll wait for some kind of bullish rejection to happen to take the trade to the upside. CAD JPY, deeper pullback to this area of interest, then some kind of bearish rejection to happen on this area of interest to take the trade to the downside. And lastly, Euro GBP, some kind of a bullish pullback to retest the 4-hour EMA, the area of interest, then I'll wait for some kind of bearish candlestick to form on the 4-hour time frames and to take the trade to the downside. That's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm out. Set and forget.